So I just want to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I'm just going to throw us on mute and I will throw it on speaker view. So I just want to say thank you so much for making it live. It's so awesome to have people to chat with, people to hang out with on a Friday night. We're just talking about plans for a Friday night. I have a different background. I'm at work this evening, picking up my daughter in town, making everything just flow so that I had some space where it was nice and quiet. And it's so peaceful in here. I love this room. It just smells like massage. I have my computer on my massage table, so I'm just super at home in here. I got my oils going in the back, and it's just no cats running around to distract me. So I am really excited always about Friday nights. And this evening, I want to allow us to embrace, of course, all the cosmic energy going on. You guys have probably noticed some pretty intense. These last few weeks have just been kind of intense is almost the only word I have to describe it. It's like, it's just, there's been, if when we talk about alignment, our body, mind, and soul have more to do with being in alignment than I feel almost all of those little parts and things like that that go in. Those, the body, mind, and soul, once those are sort of connected, just to really simplify it, the ways that we can move forward are absolutely incredible. And when we're talking energy and we're talking frequency and we're talking vibration, once we start to really embrace the energy and the frequency of things, we start to understand how this whole manifestation thing really works, right? So these solar flares lately have essentially been, hey, Samara, welcome. So awesome to have you. Um, I'm just throwing everybody on mute for now, just because I am recording, but you guys feel free to absolutely hop on in the chat at any point. Love hearing from you guys. So um, tonight we are going to dive a little bit into our truths and into those things that we are sort of ready to kind of hear, ready to let go, ready to embrace. And we're going to dive in through all of our chakras. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a clearing so that we can allow this new full moon energy coming up next weekend to really start to work with us. Like, the cosmic energy is amazing. So these things that have been coming up, I'm just going to get everybody in there. These things that have been coming up have been really clear. Hey, Nikki, welcome. I'm just throwing everybody on mute, but mwah, lovely to see you. Um, we and I'm all distracted because I'm so happy. It just makes me so happy to see everybody. Thanks so much for everybody for coming tonight. So when we think of essentially with manifesting and with vibration and with frequency, I'm just going to start over a little bit because these things that have been coming up with these, we've had big solar flares, and what that means, like a solar flare, all this stuff. My husband's like, Mercury lemonade, what? I just don't understand all this stuff. So I like to kind of simplify it down for you guys, just allowing us to know what sort of support we have, why this is happening in patterns, and why we're sort of, a lot of us are going through the same things, or at least noticing things around with people. And I was just really called to do like a really big energy clearing, like just a really big sort of push through of those big things. We're going to connect to the 7 chakras above us. We're just going to go into each one, sort of speaking with them, allowing them, asking the questions, because this is it. We are asking the questions, and asking the questions, the universe loves to play, just loves to play. And so when we start playing by just relaxing a little bit, relaxing, having fun, doing those things, I've certainly been noticing a lot more opportunities coming up to have fun where normally it would end up, my resistances would, thinking that I just possibly couldn't, go and just be lazy and have fun. And, all these stories that were sort of in my head really came to to light in the last few weeks in such a beautiful way. And I'm realizing that this is the shift. It's every day is a little bit of a shift. Every day is realizing and noticing these thoughts that are sort of running in the background, and the ones that are really in alignment with where we're going and the ones that aren't, because the ones that aren't are going to feel really yucky. So we look at where we're feeling really yucky. And when we look at it, we're able to sort of shine that light on it. Because if you think about it, what would happen is we would look at it, and generally we would either try and sort of fix it or avoid it, or chase it. Like, we either sort of go either way. And one of the ways that I heard described the other day that I thought was really neat was how we always refer to just making a choice as simple as choosing something on the menu. But what happens, so say we are at the restaurant and we just choose, you know what, we're feeling really good. We're like, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to spoil myself tonight. I really feel like I'm just going to have the steak and the lobster or the crab legs. I'm going to order the crab legs. So I sit down and I order them, and then I'm looking around and everybody's getting their food, and so we say we make that choice, and then you wait for the meal, right? Well, this is sort of where I think, can fall off track, where we know what we want, we know where we're going, yet it's not there yet. We ordered it. Well, where is it? It didn't show up. We planted that seed. It's not that doesn't even look like, I don't even trust that that's actually a strawberry seed. That looks like more like a raspberry. Like, we start to question it, right? So if you thought about it as ordering the steak, or say you've ordered your crab legs and you're waiting, and everybody else is sort of getting their meals, and you see everybody's getting pasta primavera, and so there's like a whole bunch of people eating that around, and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have ordered the crab legs. God, the crab legs are so expensive. I shouldn't have ordered them anyways. Why was I? That was really, I shouldn't have just. Okay, so you get the waiter, and you tell the waiter, you know what? I'll just have the pasta primavera, and they're like, okay, you didn't ask, like, is it ready, or is it, you just like, you don't deserve the crab legs, so okay, I'm gonna have pasta primavera like everybody else, and then so you order that, and then you're waiting, and you notice everybody's got this bread with oil, and they're dipping that in, and you're thinking, well, maybe you had to order the bread first, and maybe that's like, maybe I did something wrong. I think I might have. Shit, now I'm getting the pasta primavera. I don't even know if I feel like, I don't mean, what is pasta primavera? Does that just mean vegetables? I was hoping for steak and a lot of crab. We go through all these things after we've already made the order, and the cook could have literally had it on. It was probably sitting on the warming plate, and then ended up having to be thrown out. And the things that the disservice we caused by maybe not going for that choice, just because we tried it, and maybe we had ordered crab legs before and it never worked out. Maybe there was a story about these crab legs that was sort of setting us up for this failure, and now maybe we can go to so many places in our head. But if we just know we want crab legs, and we're going to just sit and wait till we get the crab legs, we're going to get the crab legs. If you think about it, you're going to go into that restaurant, and as long as they serve crab legs, I mean, if you were demanding enough, they'd probably go get you some crab legs and find them they'd probably order them in just so that you'd go away. But the thing is if you want your crab legs, you're entitled to your crab legs, so you can absolutely feel free to order them. The problem is that we're so impatient, we will often talk ourselves out of them, or look at the other things that are going on. So a way to be able to stay focused is to think about that, getting the crab legs. But now what are you going to do? Are you going to be a little bit patient? Are you going to relax? Are you actually going to enjoy the conversation? If you think about it, people used to have a cigarette while they would wait, and by the time, or they would go to the washroom, and by the time they would get back, the food would be there, and it was always the perfect timing, wasn't it? It was always the perfect timing. And so that brings me to the point that sometimes there is a perfect timing for everything. And that perfect timing is the plant that actually, or the seed that actually got planted. Hey, Verena, welcome. It's awesome to see you. Thanks for coming tonight, or this morning for you, sorry. And so if we can have that patience, but not only have that patience, actually look at what we can do to cultivate that soil. When we go, and we've been talking about frequencies, and even the experiments when you put the emotions into a droplet of water and then we're able to look at it under a microscope and what it did to it. And you hear of the plant experiments and the things that they would do to plants where they'd scream at them, or they would, put classical music, they would sing to them, they would tell them how beautiful and lovely they were. They would react differently. And this is because of energy. So when we think about the energy that we're putting into ourselves, and even the little stories in the background, those little stories that may have been keeping us stuck or maybe have been keeping us from getting those crab legs, those stories have a certain vibration, right? So they're going to put it into absolutely everything. Now, when it comes to manifesting and where I was going with this, if we are planting that seed, but the action is taking that sort of environment and making it the best that you possibly can for that seed. If you're planting that seed in soil that is, say, really acidic, and it's a plant that can't handle that, you're not going to be able to grow that plant to its full potential, right? It may still be that strawberry seed, it may still be that particular vegetable that you're trying to grow, but can it grow at its full potential? And I've been using my garden as a really good sort of reference point this whole year. And in looking at it, just the fruition of it, there was almost so much at points that I couldn't handle it. It was like, ooh, and that was sort of happening in life too. It was very in reference. And so I want us to take a look at our lives right now as our garden for this year, and how we've been, these last few months have been huge for putting those intentions into what we really have been wanting. And that has sort of been starting to create these present moments where some of this resistance still comes up. And if we were to continue to just sort of push this resistance back and not feel it, not acknowledge it, not recognize it, not forgive it, not sort of deal with it per se, it's going to sort of continue to hang out in a way that is often not serving us. So tonight's going to be just a time to be able to, I forget what being in town is like. There's road traffic, sorry. Tonight is going to be a night to be able to just actually go into every single energy center. We're going to go into like 13, 14 energy centers tonight. And we are just going to allow them to say what they are ready to say when we ask certain questions. Now, by asking these questions, it doesn't mean that right now you're going to get every single answer, like you've just opened a book and gotten it all. But by playing in the field like this and asking these questions, we allow these answers to come to us when we are in our highest frequency of gratefulness, of joy, of doing those things that we just love, when we're painting, when we're dancing, when we're feeling that music, when we're expressing ourselves in that way that just we know is our true gift to the world, whatever it might be, however we, even just by being a person that just is a little bit of a light, there are so many ways to be able to increase that amount of access to answers, and most of it lies in the frequencies. And so that's why we really focus on those higher frequencies, those when you are in that state, when you were just feeling joy, it's like, I just had the best idea. Even sometimes if you're just, I find cleaning the pool, doing something that I'm feeling grateful for having it, feeling like, wow, I get to, clean my pool. All of a sudden I'll have these great ideas, or I'll just turn something on and it's the exact thing I needed to listen to that day, or someone will call and just, one of the biggest things that happened for me this week that was so profound is one of the ladies that is on the team with the oils that I work with. She's just this born coach, and she just gave me a call this one morning, and it was like, just gave me this talk of like, do you know your potential? Like, anytime I talk about you, you're like one of the biggest leaders, you're doing all this stuff. Like, it was just like, the things that she said, it was like, wow. And she's like, not intending to coach me or anything, but just by lifting you up a little bit. Like, I wasn't like in a funky place or anything. It was just like, wow, I received that. I accepted, instead of going, oh, thanks. It was like, Oh, it felt so good. And it felt so good on such a next level that it's charged me up all week. And I was like, that's why people have coaches, because you have that sort of accountability group to be able to, like, damn it, I will tell you how awesome you are every single day if you need that, because you are. And you know what? When we hear that a little bit more and a little bit more frequently, we actually start to believe it, just like we started to believe all the other crap that we were told that we weren't allowed to do. We start to be able to see the truth about things. It's an unfiltered version. We're in that frequency of acceptance. We're able to actually feel that love. We're able to, this is the timing. This is when timing is right. You could have had that right person come into your life and they would have been trying to give it all to you, but maybe you weren't in that receiving mode yet. Maybe you couldn't have really felt it for all it was worth and had this like I just have goosebumps thinking about these relationships that, and that doesn't have to even just mean a lover or someone that you haven't met yet. That can be with your partner now. That can be this transition. You can make the choice every day to have this in your life, right? With whoever that it's none of it's an accident. None of it's an accident that you're exactly here right now and going in to be able to ask these questions right away into our energy centers. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to dive in right away because I don't want to keep everybody too late tonight. I know that time is very valuable, and I've actually been doing really good staying in time a little bit more. And there's so many things that have been coming up lately as far as helping people with being able to understand energetically what's going on and being able to understand sort of like the premise behind it so that it's not such a mysterious thing, so that it's not so difficult to understand how we can still do this work and still be creating and doing knowing all this stuff but still kind of run into resistance. This allows us to truly see those things that have right now been kind of brought into our active experience as patterns or as things that kind of keep coming up that we're really, really ready to shift at this point. And so being able to kind of stay strong, stay focused, stay grounded, and not have a whole lot of stuff weighing us down going into this next couple weeks. This is something that you can even do on a daily basis. There's a reason that you're called to meditate. There's a reason that you have feelings about things. There's a reason that you were called to this work in general, to doing any sort of self-help. There's a lot of people that don't ever open a book or listen to anything or try to even find anything out or ask any questions. And I'm not saying that they get stuck, but for them, for living their true potential, they're almost missing out on the true potential of the power that we have when we understand our truth. And so this whole month, September, it's kind of like the manifestation time. You can tell the sun's going down. I'm just going to turn on the light really quickly here. So it's now the manifestation time. It's now the harvest time. We're going into these cycles. And we need to be able to see what we've planted. We need to be able to see what is actually growing right now. And we need to be able to see the end result of that tree that we planted. Not to just kind of be looking at it thinking, I wonder what's going to grow there. Is there anything growing? I don't even think I watered it this summer. We want to kind of look at our active experience, at our life right now as the truth. Because we're ready for the truth. We're ready for the truth so that we can move through this, so that we can do some forgiveness that will tend to happen once we start making space for things, once we start making some space for some of these old stories, these old energetic traumas, these old frequencies, anything that may just be ready to shift. And you may not feel anything sort of come to mind right away. You may feel a whole lot of stuff come all at once, because what we're going to do is we're going to we're gonna ground ourselves. We're gonna work through the energy centers, just moving up, and we're gonna just go all the way up into our divine gateway chakra, I think, and just ask those questions that are ready to reveal some truths for us, that we're ready to literally start understanding what we need to do to sort of to take action on these things. When we ask these questions, when we are stuck on anything, when we are feeling like we just sort of have to really figure something out, we can ask for divine guidance. Our angels, our ascended masters, they are all literally ready to just play. They are so willing. The one thing that we need to do is to be able to be grateful and to be able to thank them. This sort of completes that whole cycle and allows us to really kind of get in touch with all of the connections that are literally just waiting to talk with us, to send us answers when we're ready, and to know that these answers are finally coming, because there were shifts that had to happen. This isn't anything that we're beating ourselves up for at all. It's literally about timing. And the fun thing is that the timing is now. The timing is really best to support us right now. So let's do this in the absolute best of our ability, with the clearest energy centers that we can moving forward. Because don't forget, there's so many things that are in our energy centers that are not even our own. So we're going to just kind of go through and clear all of those out. Oh, the five little mice story was coming to my head. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys as a group yet, but they did an experiment where they had mice that had been traumatized by having a cherry blossom branch shaken at them. They were never beaten or anything like that, but they were scared with it. And so they did studies where up to 7 generations of mice post that event, where they hadn't even, like, the next 6 had never even seen a cherry blossom. They only had to be introduced to it by having one close, being able to smell it, and they had this autonomic reaction to it. They were measuring everything on an energetic level, and so they didn't know anything about the trauma, but all the way back to that can be held in this energetic pattern. And so I feel like this is why we may be ready for forgiveness. We may be starting to really understand this stuff. And when we can do a little bit of forgiving, I can feel that melting things away already in the energy centers. There's sometimes it's about us, sometimes it's about others. But we're going to go in and we're going to do a little bit of that in some of the energy centers that we've just been hanging on to some trap stuff. And yeah, I'm getting lots of good downloads here, just getting ready to jump on in. So if you guys are ready, I would love to just do an energy clearing, if I have your permission for that with you guys. This is awesome. Okay. So get into a comfortable position. I love it if we have our backs slightly supported so that we can feel comfortable. If not, that's absolutely okay too. You pick whichever position is most comfortable for you. We're simply going to connect with our breath. And I want you to just notice your breath right now going in and out. I don't want you to force it, but I want you to start just connecting with it. And I want you to imagine that breath is starting to go down into your belly and sort of fill it up with every breath that you breathe in. And just connecting with that, just breathing into your belly. Let it expand as much as it can, and just notice again. Sometimes at night it's a little bit heavy, where your breath actually feels like it can't get in the body. So I just want you to pay attention to it. No judgments, just how dense is it feeling, how heavy. And with every breath out, just use a little crack in your lips and just breathe out. I want you to consciously try and almost deflate your belly a little bit when you're breathing out. Perhaps even start to decide to relax each muscle in your body. And just connecting with that breath, allowing it to fill the belly and the chest now with every breath in. Perhaps feel your chest expand even a little more out to the sides with every breath in. And releasing every tense muscle, releasing the muscles in and around the neck and the shoulders. Perhaps you even want to move them. Roll those shoulders back a little bit, just elongate that neck, just literally allowing your body to start relaxing one muscle at a time. Maybe even use your head as the starting point. Relax all the muscles around the eyes and the jaw. Try relaxing the muscles around the throat and the shoulders, the arms and the chest. Breathing in and feeling that air now starting to circulate through your body a little bit more freely, a little bit more breath-like, a little less dense. And imagine that breath starting to infuse into all the cells of your body, filling up in the head, filling up those cells, just feeling like that oxygen is finally getting into the cells of your body and just allowing it to move down through your chest. And imagine your belly just expanding like a big beach ball with every breath in. And then equally deflating as you breathe out, relaxing all the muscles in and around the stomach and in and around the hips. Letting those muscles in the pelvic floor go and the muscles that you're sitting on. Allowing those to relax with every breath out. And notice the breath starting to move down through your pelvis into your hips. Notice those cells starting to become alive with that oxygen, with that breath, with that energy. Noticing the energy moving through your legs, your knees, your calves, your feet. And imagine down through your feet that roots can grow deep down into Mother Earth, just so far in that you can't even see where the ends are, but you can feel the pulse of the Earth's energy start to really reciprocate into your body. I want you to imagine that Earth's energy coming up into your pelvis now, up through your legs. And noticing that the Earth's energy, when it comes up, it feels beautiful, it feels grounding, feels like it's roots of like a bamboo tree or something. So you can sway, but nothing can knock you off. And just allowing us to go into the root chakra, the first energy center. It's literally at the base of your spine, down even a little bit further into your whole pelvis. And I want you to imagine a beautiful deep red color down there right now. This beautiful sort of red earth color. And I want you to send your breath down there. And notice that that color just starts to fill and light up a little bit more in that area. This root chakra is a container for all of the emotions, all of the things that you heard, all the vibrations, all of the frequencies that were emitted to you before you were born, as you were in the womb, things carried on by us generationally. Some of our deepest habits, our addictions, our behaviors are literally down in that root. I want you to notice what that root chakra could say to you. If you were to ask the root center, if you were to simply go down to that area, envision that color, imagine connecting with your breath into that area, and simply ask the intention of what that root chakra is still holding on to that needs to be released right now. Someone that you needed to forgive, things that you're hanging on to, things that you're hoarding, things that you're maybe some obsessive types of behaviors, the things that are just literally ready to be released from that center. I want you to be able to just ask yourself, ask the ascended masters, ask the angels, ask them to play with you in the field right now. As you tune into this energy center, right at the base of your spine with this beautiful red healing color, just noticing anything that comes up for you. Our fears and our anxieties, what's something that you've been really afraid of that's been hanging out in that center, that's just been waiting for the right moment to be let go. And I want you to give it permission to. I want you to thank it for showing up, even if you don't know what it is yet. We're going to literally tag it and treat it in the field and allow the perfect treatment plan to come forward. However it may be released, you may notice that you received a breath in letting it go. In receiving a breath, sometimes you get that urge to just take a nice deep breath. Sometimes it's a yawn, sometimes it's a gurgle, sometimes it's a twitch. Sometimes nothing happens yet, and that's okay too. When it does, you'll know what it is, and you'll be able to send forgiveness and gratitude down to that energy center, and just choose to send love into that root center. Choose to send love into all those little parts that hang out in there. All of those wounds, all of those beautiful times, just choosing to thank them for showing up, to be released. And taking a nice deep breath, we're going to move right up to the sacral chakra, right above that. And this is all in your lower back. This is all our structures as we were growing up in our childhood, the way we belonged, the way we fit in, the things that we learned, the patterns that we had, all the fears of change, any moving things like that that were disruptive. All our boundaries are down in this energy center here. There's a lot of manifestation boundaries. Money, big financial things will often get trapped right in that low back, right in those joints below the kidneys there. Boundary problems, feeling as though we've lost control, we can't do it, it's too much. Those all sit down in the sacral plexus, and I want you to just notice any of those emotions, feelings, patterns that are ready to just be released. And I want you to ask your sacral plexus if there's anything that needs to be, anyone that needs to be forgiven, that's crossed these boundaries. And for a lot of us, it's ourselves. And just choosing to receive a breath in the assistance of letting this go. Just connecting with your breath and using the powerful tool of your nervous system and of your breath to be able to simply choose to allow these beautiful lessons to finally be observed, to taken into play, to be implemented. I want you to thank all of the messages, thank all of the angels, thank all of the helpers and teachers right now that are allowing us to see these lessons that are ready to be shifted. Moving up into our solar plexus, where we've always had that feeling of controlling everything. I want us to just allow that solar plexus, that place where we control it all, that place where we have that inner knowing, those stubborn patterns that like to hang out, those patterns of victim, those choosing to struggle, choosing to suffer. And I want to ask this energy center, I want to tune in to this beautiful yellow color that's starting to just fill the area. Allow the red and the orange and the yellow start to just form into this beautiful, almost like a sunset. And allow the yellow to just start coming through, filling your belly with each breath. This area can hold a lot of guilt, and it can hold a lot of feeling that need to stay in struggle. I want us to ask this energy center, who would I be if I let go of this struggle? And just tune into that energy center. Ask all of the ascended masters, all of the teachers, all your spirit animals to come forward with this energy center, helping you to see this information that you need to see. Who would you be if you didn't have a struggle with this particular thing that just came up? This is where we have a lot of our avoidance, our workaholism, or we'll avoid things. It may not be with an addiction per se, like a really physical detrimental, but these are where the emotional addictions like to hang out, the avoidance, the where we pack everything down into that area so that we don't have to deal with it. There's been so much of being punched in the gut or being wrong, not knowing, confusion, not knowing who we are, not wanting to know, and just accepting all of those teachings right now, noticing any that you need to be able to take a lesson from, and receive a breath and being able to release anything that needs to be moved from this beautiful solar plexus that's creating these boundaries, that's starting to actually grow pillars of light down through. You can feel these pillars of light emanating all the way from the pelvis up into the sacral plexus, into that beautiful orange, and starting to turn into this beautiful pillar in this yellow solar plexus. And allowing this pillar of light to start shining up into that heart chakra, into that heart center, where our people pleasing is ready to possibly just be let go, where our jealousy is ready to take a back seat, where our preconceived notions of how people are going to be, how our critical mind, how our judge can sort of take over to protect us from being hurt, and just seeing these lessons right now, allowing these boundaries, allowing the heart wall to literally have some bricks removed that are ready to literally be removed. This wall that we put around our heart, this emotional protection, this turtle shell, especially if we're really sensitive, notice that that wall was actually really taking up some real estate, and allow perhaps it to even be remodeled a little bit. If you don't want to take it down, give it a window, some material that might allow some beautiful light through. And choosing to embrace a green color as it just absorbs into every cell and infuses into every cell with each breath that you take in. Filling that whole heart center. And just notice anything moving through the body, anything that you're willing to just choose to let go right now. Perhaps choosing to love yourself. We're going to ask this energy center right now. Is there anything stopping me from loving myself? What could I do to just show myself that I love myself? What's one little thing I could do? And just ask all of your energy centers to give this a column of light, the amplification, the magnification that it needs to be able to see these beautiful answers. And you can even ask if there's anything that you need to know, anything that you need to let go of to be able for you to love yourself. What about forgiving yourself? What about forgiving someone else who has hurt you? What about losing a story right now about why you can't have love or why you didn't receive? Or perhaps deciding to forgive someone who hurt you. And I want you to just be grateful for these thoughts that are coming up right now, for these emotions. These things are truly ready to move. And if they aren't right now, they will when you're doing something that you love. You are going to have the most amazing, beautiful lesson about this, because you're just simply asking your heart center to show you what you need to be able to live your truest, fullest potential. And allow that light to move up into your throat, and allow the ascended masters, all of your teachers and healers, all of your spirit animals to come back in, noticing what you see. You may see the strangest animal that you didn't think you would. Just play with the universe. Ask them to show you right now, even a symbol, an animal, a stone. Allow them to be around that energy center of the throat, allowing you to hear this for the first time, allowing you to really use your clear energy and be able to speak your truth. What is it that your throat chakra is just ready to be able to speak to the world? What is this that's been hiding inside of there that's just ready to finally be seen? And you can ask for guidance right now. Is there anything stopping me that I'm ready to let go of from just speaking my truth? And if a person pops in, a place pops in, something pops in, you can ask that you're able to send the most amount of love to that thought right now, releasing it back into the cosmos by receiving a breath. And allowing this blue light to move up into purple and into that third eye, into that indigo color, that night sky, and allowing your third eye to finally open. And just ask, you can ask that your intuition come in full play, that your third eye open for you to be able to really see your true divine truth. And I want you to ask this energy center to show you your truth. I want you to ask for all the help in seeing embracing, embodying, believing, understanding, and knowing that you have it inside of you. And imagine that behind your eyes there's a light that you can see off in the far, far distance. That's literally the third eye opening. And I want you to just imagine that that light can almost get bigger like an eclipse. And feel that little flutter in the forehead. Mine just did that. And ask your third eye if there's anything in your head that needs clearing, anything, all of that gobbledygook that just sort of wobbles things around in the brain, all of those stories, all of those things that you may have heard, those things that have gone in your ear chakras. Allow anything that you've heard that you're ready to just release right now to receive a breath. Be shown to you if it needs to be shown, but just choose to release any of those stories that are taking up real estate in the brain, that aren't fitting anymore about how you can't do any of this. And allow that energy to move up into the crown chakra. Whew. We're going to allow this white light, this beautiful white light, to start to emanate out the top of the head. And I want you to ask this beautiful energy center as you bring your breath up into it. Notice that your breath can actually now fill all the way to the top of your head, like such a beautiful light feeling. It just flows through that column of light that's now beaming up through your head and out the top of your head. And I want you to ask your crown chakra physically, on a physical level, what is going on up in the head and around the body that needs to be released? Going back through those body energy centers, physically, if there's pain, if there's something that's uncomfortable, I want you to just go back and scan with this beautiful crown chakra open to see what else is ready to let go in the body. I feel like there's physically some things ready to shift right now. Pains that have been hanging on in a physical level, I want you to just touch on each energy center. Going through and just asking, simply asking if anything would like to just leave the energy centers, be dispersed back into the cosmos where it's helpful. And receive a breath on that, on anything ready to let go physically through those energy centers. And I want you to notice that there's maybe some blocking that was going on in the crown, in that crown chakra where we actually have our ability to be able to see, to really understand, to really connect with the divine, where the confusion is and the doubt, to truly allow some of this to be released. Thinking that we can't do it, we don't think that way, our brain isn't, we're not smart enough, all of those things, all those lack of capabilities are just ready to be, I feel like they're just dispersing off the top of the skull like a sparkler right now. They're just diffusing off, burning off, creating space so that we can go up into that soul star. And allow your soul star to just shine as you thank your ascended masters, your teachers, your healers, your spirit animals for allowing you to see everything that you've seen so far. And ask that you could go up into your soul star where you can finally see any negative patterns that have been coming up lately, any things that are ready to be let go, any thoughts that keep coming back in, any I can't do this. Literally allowing any negative connotations, any negative talk to yourself, any energy that you might unconsciously or subconsciously be giving yourself by telling yourself these stories of how you can't do it. I want you to just choose to receive a breath in your soul star and ask if there's anything, any more negative patterns that are just finally ready to be let go. And ask that you release these from all of your energy centers using this soul star energy, this beautiful light. Allowing the soul star to kick into high gear will literally allow you to ascend into these next levels of consciousness. And so I just want you to ask your soul star to show you anything that will help you in your life's experience in whatever way you'd like right now. It can be relationships, it can be business, it can be career, it can be family. And choose to receive a breath and just thank them all for allowing this release to happen, for these lessons to be learned, for this information, and for playing. We're going to go up next into our spirit chakra. This one's more emerald in color than light. The soul star is much like a white light that just shines down like a spotlight. And I want you to imagine that just above that soul star is your spirit chakra, this beautiful green color, this beautiful green center. This is where we actually have this greater understanding of our gifts and our possibilities. And I want you to think now of all these things that people have come to you over time with. All of these things people have said you're good at. You do this like no other. Oh, you are so amazing at this. And I want these stories to run through your head right now. And I want you to receive these stories, and I want you to receive these as your gifts. These are your gifts. Know what it is you could talk about all day long. Think about that thing right now. What could you do all day long? What would you just wake up and love to do? What do you wake up and love to do, and have you done in the past that you just love? I want you to allow this spirit chakra right now to talk to you. Seeing beyond time, seeing beyond space, seeing beyond yourself. I want you to ask it to show you some of the gifts and some of the possibilities that are out there for you right now. In the energy of receiving, in the energy of abundance, in the energy of joy, and in the energy of gratitude, I want you to be thankful for all of the possibilities that are open to you. And you can be asked to be shown one if you would like. You can ask for assistance in knowing what these gifts are. And you'll just notice over the next little while these things that will pop in. Ask for help in this beautiful spirit chakra, in this beautiful color of green. And I want you to imagine now that the brightest white light is starting to shine, so iridescent and so almost Christ-like that you can't even see anything. It's blinding. And I want you to just imagine this blinding light as we go into your creation chakra. This is where you can actually channel your gifts. This is where you can actually melt challenges away by truly believing in yourself, truly feeling the experience. You can actually ask this energy center. This is your center of creation. This is where you get to create what it is that you bring out to the world. And you can ask for that to be amplified and shown to you. And you can tap into your creation chakra, this energy center that's beyond the stars, this light that just shines. It has all the ability to send you this information that you need to know. So you can ask for that information to be shared. What can I do? Just show me the ways that I can create the most beautiful, abundant life, the most happiest situations that I can possibly create. You can ask for guidance in this area. You can ask to be shown something right now. You may or may not receive an image, a picture. You also may receive something that you need to let go, taking these lessons at their purest source energy. I want you to start to experience a red color coming in as we raise above that creation chakra and we go into our galactic chakra. This deep red, this divine knowing, this deep cosmic wisdom, these grids that have been set up, allowing you to feel when other people enter the room, allowing you to tune in to a radio station like you're finally tuning out all of the noise. And you're tuning it to the station that you are ready to hear. And I want you to imagine that you can hear a radio station you've never heard before and allow this galactic chakra to speak to you in whichever way they may. It may be by sight, it may be by sound, maybe by hearing, it may just be feeling it. You may hear a song. I want you to just allow that radio station to tune in. You may just feel a frequency. There may be no words or divine message at all in the language that you hear right now. But I want you to take your space in this universe above the stars, behind the galaxies, and imagining the brightest sun that's ever shone above your head again, so far up that it lights up all of the energy centers that we have just worked on today. This is your divine gateway chakra. This is the light that shines beyond any energy center you've felt before, where you can take this final step into your ascension, feeling fully connected up to source energy, feeling every cell of your body infused with light so that you're no longer the part of just a human skin. You're part of a deeper experience, an inner knowing, an inner playing with the universe, and feeling this right now. I want you to thank all of the ascended masters, healers, helpers, anyone that comes to you, anyone that comes into your field. Maybe loved ones, maybe galactic beings, maybe water, maybe earth, maybe stars, maybe moon. I want you to feel grateful for the ability to be able to connect to the energy centers that you were able to. And I want you to receive a breath. And choose to allow your body to release anything else that it needed to today. Tagging and treating anything the experience that may be intense, that may still need a little bit of cleaning. Just allowing this to process on all of the timelines. Creating an inner choice of peace, of ease and flow. Tuning into receiving energy, tuning into not allowing those wobbles that get us off track. And allow us to see and make any course corrections easily and swiftly. And allowing all of our energy centers, all of the helpers that we have out there to keep us at the highest frequency possible. Choosing to tap into that energy, turning this on as a fountain that has an ever-bearing switch that you don't ever have to shut off. Just noticing that this fountain can simply start working and simply start filling. And asking for any action steps towards self-care, towards self-preservation, towards honoring yourself. when we're in this acceptance mode, asking for anything that will help assist you on your path to creating the most ease and flow in whichever area you choose right now. And just ground all that into the matrix of the universe. And all the memories and timelines 1, 2, and 3. And just choose to receive a breath. And so it is. Something that became very clear to me is that to keep it in the most simplest way, shape, and form that I could possibly say, for this week, we can't fool our unconscious. We can't tell it something and do another. This is our opportunity to know these things that have been sort of wanting to come into our field, and really surrendering to allowing the lessons to come forward, asking for that help that we always have out there, tapping into that divine energy that's literally like this turtle shell that we sometimes feel like we have to encompass ourselves in. I want us to stay connected into that sort of universal field. And that meditation was so strong. It was interesting. All of the energy work that I was doing was literally in asking the Ascended Masters, and it was so strong. I didn't end up using the bioenergy work that I usually would do, and normally I'm really called to do that, and that was what I sort of had intended on originally doing today. But those energy centers and the Ascended Masters right now, it feels like there's so many lessons that really needed to be able to be shifted. There was so much shifting. My body was really feeling it, in lots of vibrations, in lots of shakes. So what I'm really feeling called to do is do a little bit of energy work, just kind of moving forward into this evening. So I am, just as I would love if you guys are sharing, I'm just going to sort of go through and clean and clear anything that's going on, because now my fingers are tingling. So it's interesting. I feel like now it's the time to do that energy work, but that was so intense all at once. It was, you guys may not have known I had the intention of just doing an energy clearing session, but it was like this, I really felt this urge to just sort of push everything up. And so I am going to open the floor. I'm going to tell you guys one quick thing before I stop recording. And if anybody has to go, by all means, go right ahead, because I know I'm a few minutes over time. But there's so much about energy that I always try and jam pack a whole lot into an hour. And so one of the things I've done, and Verena's been on board with me a little bit too. I don't know if she's still on here. We're sort of teaming up, and we're dragging Michelle into it too, and doing a little bit of an energy focused program, because I know a lot of people want to embrace it a little bit more. But there's so many things that I've done over time that have helped with doing the human design readings, so we can kind of understand on an energetic level. We can see a map. I do energy typing, where it's basically there's four energy types, and I start by looking at your hands and your face, and we do this sort of energy reading. We're usually one of the 4 types, so I'm gonna dive into that a bit in group next week. So it'll be kind of fun, because I'll make you guys show me your hands, because I think I have you typed anyways, just from working with you. But it's just another neat tool to be able to understand our energy levels. Because if you're a 2 and you're doing the habits of a 4 to try and lose weight, you're going to struggle more. So if we go into what works for a 2 for that particular issue, we can get a lot further past a lot more things at this point. It's just, I'm sort of sprinkling in um, a lot of that, a lot of doing the energy work, a lot of sort of diving into it more. But I I just want to let people know, if you want more information, if you want to sort of dive more into the energy work, by all means, just sort of let me know, and I'll send you some more information on it. We are going to do a webinar on it. We just have to actually pick a date to do it. But the bioenergy work that I'm going to do, just as I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to share, and I am going to hop off record just so that I can kind of finish clearing things out, is something that I want to really teach you guys to be able to do, because it's something that you can be able to work on yourself, your pets, other people, to just kind of have that tool, because I found it really helpful. My body kind of shut down on me because I was not in alignment. I was trying to do too many things again, chasing instead of just being, got out of alignment, realized it because my body was not going to let me just kind of get away with this. And I feel like the energy work really saved me to be able to give that to myself, to be able to function. I was still able to go out last weekend, enjoy a music festival, enjoy some songwriters, get some great insight from people sharing their gifts just by doing these different things. And it lights me up to be able to help people to understand, even though we do this work and we're working really hard, there's other stuff that can still, if it's still not manifesting, if we're still really struggling, the energy is kind of like that extra little missing piece that we can really utilize as tools in our toolbox to be able to get past those things that are more than just the self-sabotaging beliefs, the things that are sort of buried way deep down that we don't even know about. So yeah, all the trapped emotions, all that kind of stuff, it's all in there. So if you want more information, by all means, we can dive on in. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you with all that information, and allow you guys to just share and just do a few minutes of energy work. So I love you all. So thank you so much for um, making it. For those that did, and for those that are watching the replay, I am very grateful.